It's one of the craziest things that knowing the history of the creation of the state of Israel is enough to warrant someone being labeled an anti-Semite. I will be clear, however, that in my personal experience, I very much believe there is a Zionist mafia operating because there always has been one. I think Michael Jackson alluded to that before his death. Kanye West alluded to that after his gym trainer, Harley Pasternak, threatened to drug him and take his children away. What kind of gym trainer writes that kind of stuff? And I have to tell you guys, and this is not even a joke, one of the reasons among many that I was fired from the Daily Wire, a specific reason that they listed was I suggested that there could be a Jewish mafia in Hollywood in my coverage of Michael Jackson's death. It was deemed an anti-Semitic suggestion, the mere suggestion that there could be a Zionist mafia. But actually, it's kind of a simple fact of history that the Jewish mafia started Hollywood. I mean, we covered various aspects of that in our reading of Hollywood Babylon in our book club. But beyond that, Irgun, the underground Jewish terrorist organization that were operating in Palestine, ruthlessly murdering people to ensure that Israel became a nation. They just believed violence was the means to get what they wanted. And when I say murdering people, I don't want you to think that I'm just referring to Palestinians. I mean, British people, whoever and whatever was in their way. They were behind the infamous King David hotel bombing. They loved to use bombs in Jerusalem in 1946. To be clear, the hotel at that time was operating as the British military headquarters in Jerusalem. They just bombed it, killing 91 people in one go in 1946. And yes, that gang came to America and manifested here. The Zionist gang became known as the Stern Gang. And they kept up political lobbying and bombings, which made its way all the way to the White House. Check out this article about what they did to President Harry S. Truman. This is a headline in the New York Times. It reads, "Letter bombs mailed to Truman." And it tells us that the so-called Stern Gang of the Zionist terrorists tried to assassinate President Truman by letter bomb in 1947, according to a new biography written by Mr. Truman's daughter. Miss Margaret Truman Daniel writes, quote, "A number of cream-colored envelopes about 8 by 6 inches arrived in the White House, addressed to the president and various members of the staff. They were found to contain powdered gelignite, a pencil battery, and a detonator rigged to explode the gelignite, when the envelope was opened. But when the White House mailroom, alert to the danger of postal bombs, discovered the letters and had them defused by the Secret Service bomb experts," Mrs. Daniel writes in her book, Harry S. Truman. Now, members of this Zionist gang, which began in Mandatory Palestine, were also Canaanites. Literally, it's one of the craziest things that knowing the history of the creation of the state of Israel is enough to warrant someone being labeled an anti-Semite. This is stuff that is just freely available for you to look up on even Wikipedia. Okay, take a look at this in Wikipedia entry referred to as Cananism. It reads, it tells you that Irgun was a Jewish Canaanite. Cananism was a cultural and ideological movement founded in 1939, reaching its peak among the Jews of Mandatory Palestine during the 1940s. It had a significant effect on the course of Israeli art, literature, and spiritual and political thought. Its adherents were called Canaanites, okay? And then it tells you that most of its members were former members of Irgun or Lehi. Look at the art that they created. On the right side of this Wikipedia entry, it says, Nimrod. Okay, a visual emblem of the Canaanite idea. So they were creating art based on their beliefs. And who were the Canaanites in the Bible, guys? Baal worshipers. Okay, that's just a fact. It's right in your face. You wonder what's going on. Why are they doing what they're doing in Gaza and Palestine? Yeah, you got to go back into the history. Anyways, the point I'm making here is Irgun was a Jewish Canaanite gang. No one denies that it was a terrorist group that killed a lot of people. One of its members was a man named Benjamin Emanuel. That is the father of Ari Emanuel, one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful man in Hollywood. His brother is Rahm Emanuel, one of the most powerful names in the Democratic Party in politics. He was the director of public affairs under Bill Clinton before he became his senior advisor. Rahm was also the chief of staff under Barack Obama, and then he became the mayor of Chicago. A lot of corruption in Chicago, as we know. Their father was literally in a Jewish terrorist gang. Okay, so I bring up that point only to underscore the absurdity of people trying to suggest that it's anti-Semitism to note the plausibility of Jewish gangs that are affiliated with Hollywood and within politics, especially when so many entertainers have died in mysterious circumstances. How many celebrities can drown in a bathtub before it gets weird? How many people do you know that have just drowned in bathtubs in general? Okay, I believe Kanye West always have, always will, and based on my own literal experience in politics, I have been threatened, my livelihood has been threatened, and I have been gang stalked by Zionists throughout the court system and beyond. But I digress.